Hello guys, hello YouTube. How are you doing on this Sunday here? I will just briefly go through the stocks that I am well, not the stocks, but the sectors, what I'm expecting for next week, what happened this week, and what to expect next week here. So just to give you a little bit of a feeling of what I think here. So as always, guys, if you like the content, please subscribe to X or YouTube or the Substack. Um, if you want more content basically. So we will quickly find here. We have our like a daily scoreboard here. I want to go to the daily. I want to go to the daily. Yeah, we'll do the daily here. So this is roughly 3 months worth of trading. Last week we basically came down from the highs from 32.5 down to the blue line here, and we bounced up from it there. Totally expected, and I do think this week here we're gonna climb higher. I don't think we will break 32, but again, if we can get to the highs here, that would be absolutely perfect. I think once 32 gives in, it is mega move for silver. That is my expectations, given the amount of shorts that is in the system there. So gold here, we have a we have like a what's that 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks worth of trading here within this little bull flag, and we're sitting at the top here. If we can pop to the upside there, extremely bullish. There won't be anything bearish about that. Also, this trend line here goes back 50 years. We're basically getting back above, retesting. Yes, we're a little bit below, but again, if we can confirm to the upside, I mean, there shouldn't be much, resistance. You can see we zoom out here 50 years. We're basically sitting right there. So if we can resolve to the upside, extremely bullish in gold here. However, if we start to come down, obviously, that's a totally different ball game because you have a bullish setup here that is getting, negated, and that's never a good thing. The Dixie here is getting a little bit stretched here. We are, however, back into the blue wedge. So for the bulls here with the Dixie, you want to stay here. You don't want to drop below the blue. If we drop below the blue again, then uh, that's all of a sudden very bearish because you're below the blue line again, which is the big 2 year, 1 year trend line here. So we shall see. So for the bulls, basically stay here at 103, getting back below um, the blue trend line there. It is not looking the best because all of a sudden, the bears are coming back in. Bitcoin here, nothing new really. I'm actually not interested in what's happening in here. I'm still waiting for 31, excuse me, for 70 here to get taken out. But until then, just basically neutral with a long-term bias to the downside still, for reasons I have been explaining many times. Here we have the URNM, really good price action the past few weeks. A little bit of a bull flag here if it solves to the upside. So again, as long as we are basically staying above this little bull flag there, then again, it's looking bright. And we do, however, have a little bit of a level going on here. Also the triangle high, the bull flag high right there. So if we can get back above, extremely bullish. If we negate the bull flag all of a sudden, then again, it's a different story. But right now it looks promising really for the uranium miners. We've come far, by the way. We are up roughly $10, so that is like 25% or so in like a month. That's pretty cool. Let's take a look at rates here. The US 10-year, you can see we are actually back above my little parallel here. If it can hold, if it can hold here and start to climb higher, then that's good. If we start to dip back below again, then we're looking for a little bit more downward pressure there on the 10-year. Overall, this is probably my view. If we extend these things here just a bit, this is probably the most likely scenario. We might get a touch to here, and then we tag here for the third impulse. 1, 2, 3. Be very careful if that's the case. So this right down here, if you go to the 30-year, if we have that tag, will probably be your last again, this is a big statement, but this will probably be your last chance of getting low rates for your mortgage, unless they go full on banger, printer. But then again, if they do that, the inflation will come back very quickly. It will anyway, but that will just put extra fire on the fireplace there. So palladium, again, really cool price action. We were in this bull flag here and we started to break early last week. So again, overall, everything looks really, really bullish. I am somewhat certain that we have bottomed, and to clear these highs here basically confirms that. But again, overall right now, this looks really good. Falling wedge, broken there, breakout, retest, resumption. Palladium seems to be going higher, and yeah. Platinum, even though this is very messy, it's actually, we're trying to again to confirm the 4-year, no, excuse me, the 15-year long trend line here. And yeah, as long as we can climb up here again, that's what we want to see. The big move, the big spot will be 1050, getting above this blue neckline right here, coming down, and horizontally 1050, if you go back a long way, is actually a somewhat of a decent level to get above. So a little bit neutral here, extremely bullish above 1050. That's when platinum really starts to kick into gear. This is the Dutch nat gas. We are actually in a spot where we can actually clear some big trend lines here with a little bit of a move here. So if we can get above roughly, let's call it 41 here next week, extremely bullish on gas, extremely bullish. So that's what the bulls wants to do, getting above that 41 here. And if we can't clear it, then obviously we are probably going to come down a bit here. But again, I will have to say, also the nat gas one here, this is the Dutch, but the nat gas also looks really, really strong. And you can see we had this trend line here. We have tagged twice now, and we are about potentially to break a trend line here, going back basically to January 23. So this would be the 4th time. I do believe that we are going to see a pop here in nat gas. We can take out the bulge bands, how they're looking, just to see where we are. Yeah, the momentum is definitely to the upside here. The weekly bulge band, how are you looking? Grinding upwards. So we could see a decent sized move here this week, actually. We could easily see 10% in gas if we pop that trend line. Coal, want to show you coal here. It looks really, really, really strong. And we are at that point in time. We have basically been following coal for at least 1 year on the Substack. Not on the Substack, but on YouTube, and then later on the Substack, because I started Substack like half a year ago, roughly. And we had this falling wedge here, which got cleared, and we basically had a big test here of that pivot high over here. You can see it there, major pivot high. Testing. We broke into a bull flag, which is beautiful. Then we rallied, and then we could connect, we confirmed the yellow line that we had on. Basically, initially we had 2. We confirmed. We were pulling back, higher, low, testing again. This to me screams that we are going to blast higher here. So if we can get above the big magic number, which is basically, these highs here, we have a high there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're talking 153 on the coal. Coal is in for a big stage 2 uptrend on the weekly. Yeah, even on the weekly, you can see here huge bottoming pattern. You could call this like an inverted head and shoulders as well, if you want to be, a little bit more long-term technical. So gas here above 153, man, is really, really to be looked into. No one is talking coal at the moment. But again, if we start to really gain some traction here, we could easily see, not next week, but again, you could see, coal get back to these pivots here up here. And at that point in time, we're talking like, 50, 60, 70% if we start to move. So yeah, bullish, very bullish above 153. And again, if we can't clear, obviously, then you're probably looking at a little bit more downside, a little bit more down. However, my bias is heavily up because I really believe this is going to break. You can also argue, again, you have a little bit of a triangle going on here. That's That's actually really looking great looking view if I can get the correct color. There it is. So coal here looks very frisky, very frisky. What else should we look at here? I want to show you, what do we want to look? I want to show you oil. Oil is also something that we have been following for quite a while. Just like everyone else, we followed this 2-year squeeze pattern. We broke to the downside in September, came down to the big long-term trend line from down here, which is basically a potential mega neckline. So again, bulls and bears are fighting heavily here. We came back for the retest. We came down, didn't take out the breakout low, rallied, and now we're back in. We're back inside again of the blue wedge pattern, which is very scary if you are going short here. So I have a bullish bias right now here for oil, as long as we can stay within, and then most likely, if that's the case, you're going to break to the upside and basically squeeze every short position that there is. So I think this week we will just stay in here. I don't believe big moves. However, if we can start to take out the high here at 78 roughly, extremely bullish, and the lows here 71, that's probably the range, that defines the future path of oil basically. So I also want to show you the ETFs that we're looking at. We're going to go to the weekly just very briefly here on the silver miners. Look at this beauty. It's absolutely incredible how beautiful the silver SOXX looks. Ever since we basically cleared this blue bad boy right there, we have been extremely bullish on the Substack and also on X, if you follow my tweets there. Extremely bullish here. Basically, what the red is here is this big trend line going down here. We should probably make it something like this, right? So you have that 15-year roughly trend line coming down. That is cleared. Then you can take a parallel, add it on top of the previous stuff going on here, right? Depending on how you want to, we can basically make a rail. Yeah. So you can see here we're breaking on a weekly basis off that parallel as well. So, and we are above the highs from in here. This goes back to May and June. These highs here, we're basically back above, more or less. So it really looks like we want to run here for the silver. And adding into the fact that I think if silver gets above that 32.5, which I've been talking about for quite a while, these things are going to run big time. Really exciting here for the silver market. A one-liner here on the gold miners, extremely bullish. We closed above the big 15-year trend line right here. You can see we actually broke out finally and retested, and we held. So that is really bullish, and we have been really bullish ever since, again, April 2024. That was when we start to buy heavily or adding heavily into the miners that we like. So yeah, as long as we're above the trend line here, I mean, only look for longs when it comes to the gold miners. And yeah, if we also have a little bit of a bearish view, again, you can see we are having some negative divergence there with this kind of upsloping trend channel here. But again, I usually call it, again, this looks like a running correction where all of a sudden go way higher. Basically, when that happens, often people are waiting for like a bullish consolidation in order to get in. But sometimes you don't, the market does not allow you to get in that way. And basically you have to buy the dips there. So let's take a look at URA. I know we looked at URNM, but URA has the most volume because it is, US listed and all that. Basically for the entire week, well, actually we broke our green uptrend here. At that point in time, initially, we were not that concerned, but we have a little bit of a blue wedge pattern here, and we broke to the upside on Friday. Volume is not, confirming or like, adding extra confirmation to it, but if we can get above this purple one here, I mean, that is when this was the big breakdown here when a lot of bad things happened. And if we can get back above, all of a sudden you have a completely different bullish bias. to the game here, to the uranium. But please note, we have come quite far, so I wouldn't be surprised if we go sideways for even like a week, for this week as well. Holding roughly, as long as we hold, basically, let's call it 28, a little bit more, but 28, as long as we hold, it's all good. We have taken out tons of structures. We are above. I mean, it's just, we just need a little extra nudge here, and then we are actually having open blue skies for uranium miners. So yeah, I don't want to go into more detail. I think that is my views for the week. I'm just scouting here if anything needs to be said before I go. Nah, I think it's okay. Again, guys, if you like the content, please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a great Sunday and enjoy your weekend wherever you are, guys. Cheers.